So, what's up guys? My name's Kramer, and I was looking around at some RSD products, and I noticed that no one really did any reviews, specifically on Social Circle Blueprint, which I bought and I really liked. So I wanted to make a quick review video, and you'll have to excuse the fact that I haven't shaved in like over a week, so I look kind of like a hobo with a mustache. But yeah, I'm gonna make myself smaller and just kind of go over like some of the stuff that's included. And this is Social Circle Blueprint 1.0, and I'll probably do another one of these on 2.0. But just up front, I want to say that I really liked 1.0, and I actually used some of the concept. I mean, a lot of you are probably, if you're considering buying it, you're like, well, does it actually help people? The answer is yes, and I used it to, I mean, I still use a lot of the concepts today. It helped me like get my last girlfriend, which may or may not mean anything to you, but it also helped me, like, a lot of the principles in it really just helped me kind of up my social circle game on it. I mean, it's like, obviously that sounds kind of redundant, but you'd be surprised how much you can kind of get out of this with men instead of women. Like, obviously it helps with chicks, but like I play a lot of video games. I'm in a video game community, and in a weird way it kind of like helped, these principles kind of helped me get to the top, so to say. Yeah, I don't know, I'm not at the top or anything, but it's like it helps you like access like higher level guys and stuff. So I'm gonna make myself smaller and just kind of go through a few of the segments and tell you which ones I like and don't care about as much. So I'll just make myself super small here, maybe a little bit smaller. Alright, so basically I have some notes written down. I spent like the last like 30 minutes just going through just to get the basics here. Basically, so conquering fears, that's the first one. So it's definitely oriented around FOMO, which is fear of missing out, if you don't know. One of the top two of the, so the first topic he talks about is how to create FOMO for yourself, which I got a lot of value out of conquering fears, like this segment. There's definitely some segments like later on that is a little bit fluffy, but all in all, like, I definitely think it's worth it. Like, I paid full price. I have the full package, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I bought it like 6 months plus ago. But I definitely, like, I would buy it again, and I'm going to buy Social Circle Blueprint 2.0. So anyway, he talks about, I mean, I'm just going to read directly off my notes, how to create FOMO for yourself to tackle all your obstacles. So basically, he talks about why, not why, but how to leverage your emotions in a way to kind of achieve your goals and stuff. Like, you want to, like, basically he just like kind of riffs for a while about how your fear of missing out can be like used for you rather than against you. So like you can paralyze yourself with it, or you can like make yourself want it so bad. So it's like you just kind of like think about, well, what's your life going to be like if you don't approach this girl and you like never get girls and like stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I know that that's not like a great note, but I'll keep going here. Inner game. He talks about his lifestyle origin, as it says there. If you don't know, he was like he grew up in Wisconsin, and in his words, like, it didn't even have a population number on the sign. It's just like unpopulated according to like the census or something like that. So that just goes to say that like anyone can do this. I mean, especially if you're in America, you just like find a way to get to like a more popular city and you do whatever you want to do. He said he went through what was it? Something to do with like web design or something like that. But basically, like, he learned how to do stuff with computers so that he could get employed in like Chicago, in a big city, and then he started like kind of learning what he's ultimately teaching right now. He was a virgin until he was 21, which is a pretty big deal because a lot of people probably assume that people like him were just killing it since day one, which is definitely not true. And then he talks a bit about self-esteem and confidence right here, which is basically like, also I want to make a note and say that the reason I'm not going to go super deep into these because they're not my concepts and I don't want to just like give away the product, you know. I'm just going to give like little snippets of each part. And so anyway, so self-esteem, he's talking about how like you can't trick yourself into being confident, and a lot, which is like something I really like. This has actually like kind of changed my life. And I'm not just saying that, but he kind of talks about like how competence breeds confidence. So it's like you get really good at something, and it, like people can kind of see that, and it gives you value, and like that gives you confidence. I remember when I was like single for a while, I was trying to figure out like how to be more confident and like happy and stuff, and then it kind of dawned on me, like this concept like kind of jumped in my head and I remembered. But basically he talks about how like you can do all the techniques in the world to like convince yourself you're happy, you're confident or whatever, but if you just have like 10 chicks that want to hang out with you, it's like that gives you more abundance than you could ever imagine in your own head, you know. So moving on, logistics. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm clicking on this. I guess just it gives you something to watch. How about that? I don't think that's breaching anything. I hope not. Logistics will always trump game. And in his words, will get you laid 100 times more or something than game / wings / value. Value, I mean that's all like pretty deep stuff, I guess. Like you could talk about that for a while, but basically he gave the example of a designated driver and how if you have this chick that's like super into you, it doesn't really matter how, like if you've already got like 100% compliance, it doesn't really matter like how much more like you game her or whatever. It's like you have to figure out logistics. So it's like a lot of guys make the mistake of just pumping out like more and more jokes and make her laugh and like just all this like random stuff, when like in reality, if you just have good logistics, you can find like you'll never sleep with that girl because she has to be a designated driver for her friends and she's not going to bail on her friends. But if you solve the problem of the designated driver and you say, well, you guys can all come over to my house, or you know, whatever, this is his example, then you're completely bypassing the need to create more value or whatever. Like it's basically just one of the messages in the logistics thing here is don't put so much effort into like state and like all that crap. It's more about like, again, logistics. So I didn't really watch that one that much, so my knowledge isn't really there. Social capital. Oh, I think I skipped over this because I wanted to, so this is like the big part. The U Army is like the big part of the course, and like this is like the meat and potatoes pretty much. So I'm gonna just talk about this for a little bit. The U Army, basically it's a completely new like frame of thought, and it's a lot of people are like PUA artists and like stuff like that, and like if you have that mentality, then it's kind of like you against the world, and it's like, oh, you're trying to like steal someone or like snipe them out, you know, like that's the word he used, is like if you're trying to snipe girls, then it's like it's you against the club, and like no one really wants that. So like you should just learn how to leverage making everyone like you. So again, in his words, don't go into a setting thinking people are against you. Look at things as collaborative, which is super good. And that's just everything in life, you know. I don't know, like even me making this video is like collaborative with you guys, or whoever's watching this, you know. So basically, you align their goals with your goals equals more girls plus success plus friends, which is again like kind of just a great way to live your life, you know. Like if you find a guy that you like hanging out with, and like you guys have different tastes in women, you align your goals with their goals, so like you get a win-win, which is basically like you get a friend who like wants to game or whatever, and you're not like stomping on each other's territory, and like you're both getting girls and you have social proof and like stuff like that. So that's just part of the U Army. Get out of the sniper paradigm, be all inclusive, which I said. Another big tip he talks about is getting girls to be your friends and like not trying to like bang every girl you see, which is again the collaborative thing. So it's like I've used this technique plenty, where you want to basically include girls in like your friend group, which is like kind of obvious, but like when you go out, you're not trying to just like bang anyone that gives you attention. It's just like you build up your friend group, and then basically what you do is like, if you're doing things correctly, you tell them what kind of girl you like, and like you just treat them like a buddy or whatever, and basically they'll like be disqualifying girls and stuff for you. So like they do all the hard stuff for you, and it's like massive social proof and stuff like that. So that's pretty sick. And then on top of that, if you are the one that creates the friendship paradigm, you're also the one that can break it. And I think we've probably, like most of us like know what that means. Like you've been through that. I certainly know what he means by that. He talks about how to effectively friend zone girls. And then he goes on to say, I've never lost a set by making her my friend first, but I've lost plenty of sets by being like super direct, you know. Because that's where he gets criticized sometimes. It's like, oh, you're not being direct enough, and like man to woman and stuff. He's like, well, fuck all that. So yeah, that's like the big part. And honestly, I would pay hundreds of dollars just to like hear this for the first time. And yeah. So I don't really spend a lot of time at places with clubs, or at clubs with like tables and stuff. So I didn't really like look into this. It didn't really interest me. High status game, I think I remember liking, but I kind of got tired like before I recorded this video, so I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna skip to 9 and 10 game and save money, make money, and then just make a video on that. So I only have notes on those last two. So 9 and 10 game, so it's like he's very adamant about the fact that the only way to find real nines, and not to find, but like have relationships with 9s and 10s is to go through social circle. And that's purely because like their value is so high in society or whatever, that like if you're just gonna be a random guy who's like, hey, I think you're cute, I want to talk to you, like they're not gonna give you the time of day usually. Like even if they're super nice, it's like if they're a true 9 or 10, it's like that means they've got like so much abundance, like they just do not care about you, and you probably can't even talk to them in the first place because they're gonna be surrounded by people that are like keeping you out. So he said something along the lines of like, you have to accept it, like that's the only way to get 9s and 10s, and then after that you can move on. Also, like a huge tip that I really liked was he said deciding to game 9s and 10s will elevate your state, as opposed to like climbing the ranks, so to say, which is like going through, I mean, if you, I'm sure you know what that means, but if you don't, going through and like mastering like the 6s, the 5, 6, 7s, like stuff like that. Like how about you just like start going after what you really want, and then like just the idea of like knowing that you're pursuing those things will make you really happy, and you're just like it's gonna be easier to game, like all that stuff. Your life's just gonna be better if you're just like going after what you really want instead of like going through this like made up process of going after like girls that you're not even attracted to. So this is actually one of the segments that I was saying has fluff, unfortunately, but that's not to say that there isn't still good stuff in there. It's just that like I listened to 6 minutes in and I was just like fairly unimpressed, but I do want to emphasize that doesn't mean that the course itself isn't good, but like this, for example, the first segment of, or the first, I don't know, 10 minutes of this was like not that great. Yeah, so take that for what you will, I guess. That's not to say that there isn't good stuff. Like I said, I just had like 2 good tips, but I had to like scroll through a little bit to find them. Save money, make money. This is the last one I did some notes on, because it's an interesting topic. Just like let that play if you want a distraction. Okay, so my first note: people use money as an excuse to not game, which is legitimate. I do that. And he's gonna provide like plenty of solutions and stuff, because his thing is like he wants to just kind of like play the system as much as possible, right, without doing things normal, and he's pretty much going to show you how to do that. He also talks about how higher end places equals hotter girls, and it's easier to get into, and the hardest places to get into are like the $5 to $15 cover fee places, because that's where everyone goes, and no one like really has the balls to try to get into the top high end places. So if you go there, not only is it like way hotter girls, but it's easier to get into, like contrary to popular perception. So then the last thing I wanted to talk about is he gives a really good tip on getting into clubs for free, which the thing is, I felt like if I told you that tip, it's kind of infringing upon his product, so I didn't want to just like give away that tip for free, but it's super good and it makes perfect sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I have listened to like the U Army section like so many times. In fact, like I need to like write down notes again and like start applying it better to my social circle, but I'm not personally that concerned with like dating and like social circle stuff right now. I'm just like working a lot, so I don't really care. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you liked it, give me a subscribe, and I will be doing more RSD product reviews most likely. I mean, that is the name of my channel. And if you have any questions, just let me know.